We must be led by the Spirit to realize that solidarity is where the connection is made. That's where the relationship develops with God, as well as to one's true self, to know yourself as well. He put the living water, when verse 23, and when he had spat on his eyes, he put living water on something that was dead. Therefore life came from something that was dead. Without a vision we perish. When Jesus had took him out, he of course spit in his eyes. Okay, and this is where it's so impertinent to see how God sees us opposed to how we sometimes see each other. In verse 24, he says, and he looked up. He looked up with that life that had cleansed him, and he was able to see in a spiritual realm. He saw people the way God sees people, as trees. When Jesus had prayed for this man, he said, what do you see? He said, I see men as trees walking upright. That's how God sees us. He doesn't see how nice our clothes are, how pretty our face is, or how good our cologne smells, or what kind of car we drive. He just sees us as trees. And he sees us as trees that bear fruit, and he sees us good fruit, and he sees us as trees that bear bad fruit or no fruit. And of course, you can look and go in and study and study the line of the fruits, of the negative types of fruits, the manifestations of what happens when you are taking part of negative fruit or planting negative seeds in our lives, in our thoughts. And that's where it all starts. It all starts here when we're thinking and looking at the mindset or the perception of the flesh. The perception and mindset of the flesh is anything that is sowing any type of negative seeds in our thoughts and our minds about ourselves, about our jobs, about our families, about our friends, about our enemies. One of the big things that I always I tell the church is never hate your enemy. You've got to respect them, but also never hate your enemy, because once hate takes over and you allow yourself to start getting into a hatred mindset, it always affects your judgment. And then by that time, you start reacting and with emotional responses instead of spiritual responses, rather than dying out to that mindset and only looking through things through a positive standpoint, a positive nature of knowing that anything that comes to us, there's always a positive. Try not to look at the negative. If it's a valley, then rather than looking at what you went through, look in and start being thankful and grateful that you've made it through it. Be grateful of the lesson that you learned. Be grateful for and thankful for what you've learned, the experience that you've gained, that you now can take that experience and use it as a testimony to help someone else that may be struggling with the same thing, that may be struggling with the same mindset. And at that time, you will be able to reach out and actually be able to touch somebody and make a connection because you've been there, not just because you feel sorry. Yes, I know it must be hard, but you've actually been there. That's when we can look and see how God looks at us. He just sees trees with good fruit and trees with bad fruit. And then, like I said, there's trees with no fruit at all. But the biggest part is to get your connection with God so you can understand the benefits that we are birthrighted to. The power, the influence that God has placed with us, and that we could have towards Him and Him with us, that we could walk together, that we could be led by the Spirit. And He said in the Word, He said, they that are led by the Spirit, they are the sons of God. There's a difference between the sons of God and the children of God. That's another one. But I hope you've enjoyed part one of the personality of the bride. Part two will be coming shortly. I hope and pray that everybody can get together in unity, get in your special place, your quiet place with God, and this evening, wherever you are, and just always thank Him. Thank Him for the people around you. Thank Him for His love, your loved ones. Thank Him. Thank Him for where you're at. Thank Him for the situation you're in, even if it's you feel it's a bad or a negative situation. Thank Him for it. When Apostle Paul, he said, in all things give thanks, simply because if we can use the mind of God, we can understand why we are in the situation we're in. What is it teaching us? How are we going to be able to take this and apply it that's going to make us better in the long run? That's when this comes along again, we're going to remember, wait a minute, we can't go this way, we can't do that, because I remember back when. And that's when experience takes over, that you're also able to help someone else. God bless y'all. I hope y'all have a great evening.